We know it's spring here in Quincy when the Friends of the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater are back to tell us about the 2025 season. Sarah Callard and Danby are joining us in studio to give us a little preview. Ladies, happy spring.
Happy spring, Joe. Thank you so much for having us.
It's our pleasure, really, now to be featured three years in a row now, right?
That's right.
For the Friends of the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater.
Yeah, third year.
Exciting.
For folks, we should start off with a little history, Sarah. Very basic. What is the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater, and what are the Friends?
Right. So, so the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater is just like an amazing, beautiful stone outdoor amphitheater. It was designed by my dad, Tio and Trainer, back in the day, and commissioned by Joe Larea. And it was built in honor of the very amazing Ruth Gordon. So Academy Award-winning actress that many of us know and love from Quincy. And so, you know, what happened is for years it was in use. The Larea family was actually doing the Summerfest and things were humming along, but it kind of went into disrepair. The electricity wasn't working any longer. You know, some things were just kind of gradually falling by the wayside over the years, and at one point, you know, the city thought, well, maybe it's time to, you know, move on and put something else there. So I think, much to their surprise, the
city did not agree.
Yeah, they were flooded with phone calls.
Sure, yeah.
And so my friend Maria DiTilio, she's I always call her by her maiden name, Maria Mulligan.
Yes, sure, yeah.
She's an architect and she's very active in the, you know, in the city happenings. So she reached out to me, and because of my father being, you know, the connection there, and so I got involved, and we all formed a group.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing we knew, we had, you know, there
Friends.
were so many people reaching out,
Yeah.
and I said, well, why don't we form a coalition?
Yes.
And maybe we can convince Mayor Koch to hold on to the amphitheater, and I am very grateful that Mayor Koch listened to the people, and his eyes were opened, and he said, "Okay, well, you know, if you can make a go of it, then let's see what happens." And so we formed partnerships with Break Rock Brewery, Blacks Creek Barbecue, so and you know, together with Anne, she's now on the board. We have a small board, myself, Anne, and Michelle Lederer, who's one of our lead architect volunteer. We've been addressing, you know, all the things. We got that Dave Murphy who came through for us, new electricity. Yep. You know, they've been gradually upgrading it over time.
Some new paint, some little bit of landscaping,
yes,
some cleanup,
right.
For sure. Yeah.
And it just has turned into something beyond our wildest dreams. I mean, I could envision it, but I think not everybody could.
Yeah.
But now what it's turned into is sort of like the launch over at Hingham, you know, where people come out every Friday night and just they pack up a few snacks and bring a blanket, or they just sit on the bleachers and enjoy the show. We've had, you know, some shows with as many as like 800 people.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, you know, it ranges.
It's a true example of grassroots community activism, you know, doing something positive for the city.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
And it just exploded almost overnight, it seems like, with great support from the arts community, from the entertainment community locally, from the live theater community as well that Anne's going to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're already getting, you know, calls and emails and questions. What are we going to do this year?
Yeah.
What are we going to do this year? What's the schedule? Are we going to do Friends Fridays again? So yes, right?
And yes, we are. Yeah.
Yes.
There was a little bit of a delay.
Yep.
Every year we like to have a community meeting, but the delay this year was that we were booking up early because we're getting on the map, and a lot of, you know, musicians are now coming to us.
That's the nice problem to have, right?
It's
They-
nice. And so we can pick and choose.
You don't have to go hunting them down, yeah.
Right. And so we were starting to book up early, but then I don't know if you've already spoken about this on your show, but it is the 400th anniversary of Quincy.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah.
Like
We talked a little bit about that. Yes. So the city was kind of busy planning
the
Quincy
city.
400. Yeah.
The city has a whole committee. They have a committee, and so we didn't want to conflict with them, and so they just asked us to go. You know, basically put half of our season was on hold until just last week, and of course it was the half of the season that I'd already started booking. So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep my fingers crossed. But as it came through, most of our Fridays are free.
Okay.
The only two shows that we won't have in the summer is August 1st and July 4th.
But then we
Okay.
never do July
July
4th.
Right. Yeah. People are away.
We figure people are
or
away.
doing their own.
It's actually a
thing.
Wednesday
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, that weekend that's by it, I think.
I think the 4th of
it's on a
July is on a
Friday.
Friday.
Oh, is it on a Friday?
Yeah, it's on a Friday.
Maybe
this
it was last year.
And the city has something big planned.
year. Yeah, they do.
They do.
Yeah.
So there will be plenty to do.
Yeah, so we're not going to try to compete with that anyway.
Obviously, yeah. And even performers might be busy at other venues on the 4th
Correct.
of July as well, right?
Yeah.
Something goes on in Boston, I think, 4th of July.
Just a little something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's still plenty going on, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Add a type of amphitheater, I would say. The
What-
hat shell is a type of amphitheater.
Well, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. An interesting kind of spin-off to the Friends of the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater, Anne, is a new community theater group.
Well, yeah.
So the Thalia Theater Troupe. So, we've done theater each of the 2 years that we've done so far, and we are going to do, which I'll talk about, something big this year.
Nice.
But it was so well received, and the people that did Shakespeare Bridge in the show said, "So are we the inaugural Thalia Theater Troupe?" And I said, it would be nice if Quincy could have could not only be at Ruth Gordon Amphitheater and say, look at this wonderful talent we have, but go around the city. So the Q Arts Gallery, which is the Quincy Arts Association gallery that is just downtown, I'd always thought it would be wonderful to do a show there. And I sort of casually mentioned it to them. They said, we'd love to have you come do a show there.
Oh.
And I said, well, I can't do anything until the summer at the amphitheater, so why don't we form officially the Thalia Theater Troupe? And so our first non-Ruth Gordon Amphitheater show is going to be April 25th, 6th, and 7th, and May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and it's called Vincent, and it's about Vincent van Gogh, and it's written by Leonard Nimoy, so it ticks all my boxes.
Wow.
Because Leonard Nimoy's from around here, so it's highlighting
Yeah.
a local guy, and it's a wonderful show. It's 2 actors are playing, one's playing Teo and one's playing Vincent, and you're seeing a show about an artist in an arts gallery.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited about it. And so we're hoping to do that sort of thing when it's our down season, as it were, when we're not at the amphitheater, that we'll do shows around the city, emphasizing different parts of the city and shows that fit that. So I was really inspired by doing the show for Ruth Gordon.
Sure. Live theater back in Quincy. It was here many
Exactly.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were multiple theaters
Oh, yeah.
in Quincy.
Oh, for sure,
You know, Ruth Gordon was inspired by
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
And so we wanna really have that explode.
How about that? Now, does the troupe need more members? More?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, more members. And is it time to talk about the pageant?
Sure.
So, what we're going to do this year, very ambitious, for the amphitheater, is on September 13th, we're going to have a pageant. So, and we need lots of people to be involved in this pageant. Now, it won't be like the 300th where they had 500 people just making costumes.
Right.
But they have given us the day,
Yeah.
and so there'll be a series of things that are about the history of Quincy with actors and singing and dancing, and I'm hoping to talk to the various parts of the industry, maybe talk to the Granite Museum. They aren't open yet, but I'm going to talk to them. But so anybody that would at all, any entertainers, anybody who wants to build things, we need people, and I just think it's going to be a fantastic experience. Won't be the same as the 300th. They were,
Yeah.
that was it, right? But it was a week-long thing. This will be performance, but we probably will spill into Pageant Field, not even just,
Which is where the 300th was.
which
right?
is where the 300th was, and so that's our thing for this year.
Okay, September 13th.
September 13th,
Yeah.
and anybody that wants to participate, please come reach out to us, because it's a community experience, right?
Yes.
They had so many people from the community participate.
Oh, yes.
And we
Oh,
would
yeah.
love to do that
Yeah.
this year.
And if folks haven't seen the Quincy 300 exhibit at
They should see it.
Old City Hall, they really should. Yeah. and
Yeah,
it
we
really-
won't be recreating it. It'll
Okay.
be different, but it still will be emphasizing the history of Quincy.
Sure.
We now have another 100 years. We have a whole nother group of immigrants. They had focused
That's
on
right.
So maybe have some of the immigrants talk to the old immigrants. So we'll
Yeah.
see how that goes.
Okay.
But, yeah, that's
Old
what's
immigrants
going
and
on.
new
All right.
immigrants.
Well,
yeah.
I was going to ask, what are you doing for Quincy 400? So there you go.
That's what we're
what you're
doing for Quincy
Yeah.
400.
But
yeah.
before then,
Yeah.
Sarah, you have an entire list
it's
of
wonderful.
acts this year.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Just before I get into
Yes.
this, I just wanted to build on what Anne
Yeah,
was
sure.
just saying and say that one of my loves and the reason why I kind of partnered up with Anne about the theater is I really love playwriting. I've written a couple of plays and I just have a love for that. I studied it in Ireland for a bit. But what we're going to do, we thought this would be just like
Oh,
a
yes, thank you.
fabulous
I forgot to
idea,
mention this.
is to have a playwriting competition,
Oh.
essentially.
Wow.
So for like each of the 100-year segments that we're going to be covering in this Quincy 400,
Yeah.
we're inviting people to write a play, a short, play, maybe a one-act play, details to follow.
Okay, all right.
But basically, we're going to choose, one or two
Four or
of each
five,
of these, of each of these,
Sold out.
100-year
Of the-
slots.
okay.
So it could be a play about anything, but just something that reflects Quincy in that time period.
Oh, all right. Okay.
And that's just going to be our way of trying to one of our things that we've been trying to do at Ruth Gordon Amphitheater. In some ways, this is a nod to Ruth, is to incubate the talent from the city.
Yes.
I see.
To be an incubator, to be to foster and grow local talent and to give opportunity. Because a lot of times, some of the other theater companies and so forth that are out there, they have a lot of the same sort of very professional, wonderful actors performing around. But we also want to make sure that it's open to new talents.
True
people
community theater.
or people that haven't. And new doesn't necessarily mean young. Some people start writing or acting when they're older. So, but it just
Okay.
means, if this is something that you're looking for an opportunity,
Take pen to
jump
paper
right in.
or
Yeah.
fingers to keyboard these
Yeah.
days
and
do,
then of
do
course
some
we'll
writing.
be looking for actors to act
Yeah.
out these plays. But for now, we're just starting by saying
Yeah,
we're
we have
just
to
gonna
start. Yep, we
put
have to
out a
start.
notice
somewhere, yeah.
saying that we're inviting, accepting.
We'll put
scripts.
Okay.
put treatments out there so that they have like guidelines of what to
Yeah,
write.
Yes.
yeah.
And I'm going to try to talk this woman who mentioned again that she is a scriptwriter.
Yes.
That she's
want her to
very
write a play?
busy. I would like
I'm
her to
actually
write one.
working on something else.
Oh,
I'm not.
she's
not-
quickly dodging you,
Well,
Anne.
I know. 1 year, but
I have
1
something
year,
in the
watch
works.
this space. I'm going to get her to write one because
All
I have a
right.
feeling that it's wonderful.
Sarah Calvin
I actually have
production.
Exactly.
my own thing in the works, and I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. But
Yeah.
but I'm not as big on the. I'm not. I don't think I'm as good at historical stuff as Anne.
Oh, yeah,
Anne
we
is very
talked about that.
historical.
Yeah.
She was able to write that play about the retrospective about Ruth's life.
Yeah.
And she's just fabulous at
Okay.
that. But
Well,
for
everybody
myself,
has their
I'm,
own strengths, right?
Yeah.
That's right. But
So-
1 year, we're going to highlight something.
We're going to
from
see it
Sarah.
performed at the Ruth Gordon.
Yeah,
we will.
but I will
Yes,
certainly
we will.
help edit and maybe co-direct or
Okay.
whatever with Anne. So,
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and starting right now, folks can start making submissions. Or?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So you could send a submission. I mean, we're gonna provide some guidelines.
Yeah, sure,
But if
yeah.
you want to just inquire about it,
Okay.
you could email us at info@friendsofrga.org.
Okay.
And also just if you're interested in the pageant in general,
Yep.
and participating, volunteering. But again, we will post on our Facebook page, on our Instagram, and on our website all of this
Okay.
good stuff
All right.
coming soon.
Now on to the heart
On
of the
to the-
matter.
Yes.
Yes. Free Fridays. At
Yes,
the
Free
Ruth,
Fridays
at the Ruth
coming
Gordon once again.
And of course, it's not like it's free for you, but the city, we are so grateful. We are so grateful to the city for
Yes.
supporting us once again in this endeavor, and also to the Quincy Arts Council. Big thank you to the Quincy Arts Council for their support. We've won a grant from them again this year. so-
Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah, but we have we're going to kick off with Fat City Band.
Oh, excellent.
Now, they
Yes.
were supposed to come last year, and I don't know if anyone recalls, but they got rained out last year.
There were some weather challenges last year. Yeah.
There
Okay.
are a few little
Right,
that you need to work
glitches.
around. But so they're going to start us off at on June 27th. Now, there's a chance that on June 20th we might have an open mic night event like what we had in the first year,
I remember. Yeah.
where it's like, see, the first year we had an open mic event, and we had just a ton of people come and perform, and it actually went like 2 hours over or something like that. We were still
You were having too much
performing
fun,
it.
yeah.
They were kicking us out by the end of it, but
Right.
We may, depending on interest,
Yep.
and do something like that.
Okay.
Because last year we did open mic nights throughout the season, and I heard some feedback that like they wanted more of an audience, and they wanted, because on a Wednesday night, it was like Wednesday nights, and it just wasn't like not that many people would show up,
All right.
So we thought maybe we'll go back to the format where we have one big open mic night,
And that's
sort of
the performance for
almost
that
like a
evening?
talent
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
contest or something.
Okay, so look out for that.
So maybe, that's a maybe. We're
Okay.
still in the planning stages, so.
Okay.
But then definitely Fast City Band is coming. Then we're no show the following week because that's July 4th. Then we have Little Eyes Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yeah.
So they are a very good, there are a lot of Fleetwood Mac tribute bands out there,
Mm-hmm.
but they're one of the really, really good ones. So we're so psyched to have them coming.
Nice.
That's July 11th. Then we have Divas with a Twist, which
Fantastic.
everybody has been raving about them from last year.
Yes.
And asking for them to come back. So they're coming back. And then we have our Celtic Quincy Night is going to return. We had that the first year. We didn't have it last year. But Cherry Orchard, the Boston Irish, they're kind of like a modern Irish band.
Mm-hmm.
They play things like, from the Cranberries and from U2 and
Okay.
stuff like that. We had so much interest in having them return that they're going to return again this year.
Excellent.
And what they did, which I hope they'll do again, is like start out with the traditional Celtic musicians. They had like a small, group, like a quartet of traditional Celtic musicians playing to open, and then the rock band came on
Okay.
after.
All right.
So it's kind of like a nice
Get a little bit of both, yeah.
mix. But yeah, they were popular, so they'll be returning. Then August 1st is one of the shows where we're not going to have anything because that conflicts with one of the Quincy 400th.
Gotcha. Okay.
So check out, they have some great stuff coming.
Yes.
So check that out too.
We've talked about that on other
I'm sure you've
shows.
talked about it, yeah. And then on August 8th, we have our anime night for the third year in a row. That has been really popular.
There's a cult following for sure.
It's
yeah.
getting a cult following.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people that just, love anime, and so myself included.
Okay.
I'm a big anime fan. So I think we're going to maybe do a double feature this time. I don't know if both movies will be anime or if we'll do something. There are, some really cool independent films by like Japanese filmmakers, and I've been thinking of doing something like that to kind of keep the Japanese theme. But
Okay.
we usually have like Chinese and Japanese lanterns in,
nice,
and
yeah.
we get like it's just a wonderful fun time. But anyway, that's something we're looking forward to. Then we have my own personal favorite, Echoes of Floyd, which is a Pink Floyd tribute band.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, and they are like amazing. They are the best Pink Floyd tribute band in the area, and they're hard to get. I booked them really early, and then I was hoping that day would stay.
Yeah.
But I'm just excited to have them because they come with and they do a laser show. So
Wow.
we've got them late in the season so that it will get dark enough for their laser show to be
Oh, very good.
fun
Yes.
too
Yeah.
at the end. And then we have 60s Thunder. So they're sort of like, they're really like sort of 60s and 70s music, but really, really fun band. A lot of the fun, kind of 70s and 60s stuff that a lot of our audience loves. And then we have Studio 2 Beatles coming.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
So there is one big thing that I'm waiting on.
Okay. So, we
I
can't
can't
say
announce
it.
that
All right.
yet.
Okay.
But
You'll have to come back when you know.
I'll have to come. Yeah.
Okay.
One's going to be very popular.
When will that be? If it
I think I'll hear, within a week
Okay.
probably. So.
All right.
And then of course we're going to have our Friends Rock Music Festival.
Yes, which was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a great success, and we're going to do that again. And we're starting to book those.
Getting groups get booked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will certainly be wanting to bring back some of our great acts from last year.
Right.
We had some Anna Daly Young and How We Burn, and
That's an all day. When is that,
The
Sarah?
Freight. It's an all day. That's going to be on August 10th.
Okay.
So that's a Sunday.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like has a little bit of a different feel because we, bring in more crafters and vendors and,
Yeah.
food, and it's more, it's like the all-day event, so you can kind of come and go, depending on what bands you want to see.
Exactly, yeah.
And last year we had 10 bands, and it was the first time that we've ever done this. And thank God for Ian Danby, who is our stage manager, because he's
Things
just been
coordinated.
great.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have come to love Ian. He does our, he also is like MC. He gets up and announces.
Okay, all right.
So he's been very, very helpful. And
Logistics are very
so many
important
people.
in an act like that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
With instruments and musicians
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
equipment and lighting and everything.
yeah, because
so
we do the whole back line, like
needs
the
to be
drum
coordinated
kit and
properly,
everything,
yeah.
like, and so that everyone
People don't
can
realize
share.
what goes
It's a lot of coordination
Yes.
that goes into it, and just like when you have 10 bands and you have about 15 minutes in between each band
Exactly.
to transition,
Yes,
So,
yeah.
but it was a great success.
Yeah.
Really, people were raving about it.
That's
so.
great. And that's the weekend right after the big concerts at Veterans Stadium, actually. So we can
Oh,
keep
okay.
keep the entertainment flowing that
Interesting.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's for us. It's the weekend also of our movie night. So we have our movie night on August 8th, and then that same weekend on the Sunday we'll have
Is
the Friends Rock.
Okay.
So
Wow. It's going to be a summer again like no other. It
yeah,
sounds like. Yeah.
it will.
You really
Yeah.
should both be very proud, I think, of
Oh,
what the
thank
Friends
you.
have revived the amphitheater for a whole new generation of Quincy folks and beyond, and also for the performers to have a local venue like this,
Yeah.
to be able to showcase their talents as well. I'm sure it's very important to them.
Yes, especially like that's what I love about Friends Rock is that because I think the first year we did have the open mic night to begin with, and then we had some bands opening, opening bands. Whereas we've kind of gone away from that because it's logistically very hard to do the opening band. So the Friends Rock kind of fills that niche
Yeah.
where it's like we can have our headliner, our headliner award-winning local regional bands
Yep.
playing later in the evening, but in the beginning. In the beginning of the day, we have a lot of local young upstart,
Exactly,
kids that are
yeah.
emerging new artists, as they call them, like 93 South, which is Mel, who does Melodrama Kids, which is a children's theater.
Okay.
That's her sons are in that band, and they have a
They're
huge
very
following
good.
already.
Yeah.
They're really
They're very
good.
good.
Yeah.
So they're
And to be able to perform in front of their own community, and their own families,
Yes.
really, and their peers as well,
Yeah.
maybe inspiring the next generation.
Yeah.
We've already launched a new theater group from this.
I know. That's right. So it's that incubator idea.
it
that
really
you
is.
You give people, the opportunity and the
Exactly,
confidence
yeah.
to get up, and then, even if it's. So I think that sometimes they'll start out with an open mic night, which. Is maybe you just get up to do one or two songs, but then the next year you might be doing Friends Rock and doing a whole,
Yeah.
20-minute set, and then you kind of grow from there.
Inspires
so.
confidence in yourself,
Yeah.
right? Exactly.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Ruth Gordon. What do you think?
She inspires us.
Correct,
Yes.
right?
She's
Yes.
somebody who would. This is what she would have wanted.
That's
I
exactly
think, for her
right.
amphitheater. I really
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Friendsofrga.org is
Yes.
your main website.
Yes.
The email again, Sarah, is
Is info@friendsofrga.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
And I
good.
apologize that the website is not all this information is not yet on the
Okay.
website.
All right.
Because
But it will
it's
be.
so hot
Will
off
be
the
soon.
press.
Right. Well, this is what we like here at QATV, breaking news.
Breaking news. Yeah.
I hope you have a wonderful season, and I hope to have you back as well for some updates when things become more finalized.
Oh, we'd love to.
Good.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Joe.
You're welcome. Great to
Thank
talk
you.
to you. Happy spring and summer.
Happy spring and summer.
And thank you for watching us here at AEM Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. We'll see you next time.